My fellow Americans, loyal Über Cinkies, brand new listeners who just wandered in and are trying to figure out where they should sit, middle back, I thank you for returning to your favorite bastion of First Amendment flexing, the podcast game show where we deep dive top 5. Today's Über Cinco will be administered by yours truly, the scion, the indomitable monolith. I'm just reading the copy here, Mitch Brinkman. I will be swearing in 2 new potential winners today, you guys. My distinguished colleague from Illinois' 4th District, Chewy's man on the inside, the main entity, Brian Ernst. Also taking the oath of contestantship will be my vertically advantaged colleague of the 5th District of Illinois. He knows where Quigley's bodies are buried, the faith himself, Nathan Hennenfent. Welcome, distinguished guests, to a very presidential episode. Good day, sirs. Hello.
Thank you. It's really good to be here.
Excellent, gentlemen. Okay, today you will be squaring off as you deliver your top 5 executive orders for your first 100 days in office. I expect these to be measured or unmeasured, perhaps gleefully insane, but no matter what, they are your opinions and your opinions alone. None of the stated orders hereinby reflect the official position of UBK Studios LLC, subsidiary UBK Ornuskers LLC, UBK Pod Party Incorporated, Carl's Jumbo Pleasure Palace Party Rental, or any of its subsidiaries on day of publish and into perpetuity. Whew. Sorry, folks. Legal has me on a leash again. Just reading the copy. Okay. On to the oaths of contestment. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Nathan, you win in height, so you'll oath first. Is your hand up? No, just Nathan. Brian, wait. Just Nathan first. Okay. I, Nathan, George, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, Hennenfent.
I, Nathan, George, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, Hennenfent.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute the obligation of contestment.
That I will faithfully execute the obligation of contestment.
Of Über Cinco, and will do to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend.
All of that stuff.
the list of executive orders I will sign on my first 100 days in office.
The list of executive orders I will sign in my 100 days of office.
Of the President of the United States, so help me, Mitch.
Of President of the United States, so help me, Mitch.
Excellent. Thank you. You're ready. Okay, Brian, here we go. Is your right hand raised? It is. Excellent. I, Brian Alexander.
I, Brian Alexander.
I wish I hadn't cheaped out on gym shorts because these turds are heavy, Ernst.
I wish I hadn't cheaped out on gym shorts because these turds are heavy, Ernst.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute.
The obligation of contestment of Über Cinco.
The obligation of contestment of Über Cinco.
Yada, 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 so help me, Mitch.
Yada, 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 so help me, Mitch.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, you're both ready to compete in today's contest. And, of course, for you folks at home, if you've listened to the show and you're itching to make a suggestion, perhaps, well, send in your topic ideas and questions at bizbear.biz. Your brilliant comments could end up right here as an episode. Now, if this is your first time in the Über Cinco den, let us wake you out of hibernation with a quick rundown of the rules.
Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare-down.
You will hear the official Über Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Uber stare-down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score.
As always, stay with us until the end of the show where I, your host, Mitch Brinkman, will rattle off my definitive list of Fast 5 White House pets. And as host, of course, I'm entitled to institute a house rule for today's game, which is inspired by the recent inauguration of Joseph Robinette Biden and the tradition of laying out a bold strategy for the first 100 days in office for president. So today I'll be stopping here and there to drop some inauguration trivia on our contestants, or I'll be dropping simple 100 related math questions on you guys. Closest to the hole wins on these questions. Keep that in mind. So with that, Nathan, I'll have you go first to give Brian a couple moments to step away and scoop the surprises out of his shorts like he's a marathon runner who forgot to do a rest stop before the big race this morning. So Nathan, please decree your number 5 executive order you deliver in your first 100 days in office.
Well, when I become president of the United States, I want to do a few things just to shake things up at the start, keep people on their toes.
Sure.
So I'm going to implement a new system where everyone must use a mononym. You can only go by one name, like Madonna or Rihanna or Cher or any Brazilian or Portuguese soccer player. And this is just to spice things up a little bit. So no more last names, but just to avoid confusion, we're going to take a page out of the thoroughbred horse racing world. Thoroughbred horses always have such strange names because once you're registered, you have to register under a unique name. There can be no repeats. So there's not going to be, we can't, there's a player from Manchester United who's named Fred. So anybody else out there who's named Fred, it's too late. Fred is already taken. Rivaldo also is taken. And we got it. Another reason you need to be unique is because 3 of the greatest soccer players of all time, 2 of them are named Ronaldo and 1 is named Ronaldinho. That's confusing.
It is. We
can't have that. So since I am currently in office, I get to choose mine, and that's going to be El Presidente for now into eternity. So I am no longer Nathan Hennenfent. I am just simply El Presidente.
Okay. Way to appropriate a language you don't speak. That's great. So I can imagine Brian being the first guy to the name patent office and submitting it and walking out. Sun is beating down on his face. He's happy. He gets a coffee and then gets an email, like a receipt. Turns out he spelled it brain, he's known as brain from there on.
It's happened before, and now it's just happened legally in perpetuity.
But then also, you'd be known as like, the smart guy. You'd be, again, main entity. It works. So
it works.
So what's the worst one name you could have as a teacher, you think? As like you're teaching social studies in the 6th grade. What's the worst name you could have?
Turd burglar.
If that was your name, you would have been bullied so much as a kid. When you became a teacher, you would just be taking it out on the children all the time anyway. I don't see good student-teacher relations with anybody named Turd Burglar.
I'll say Turd Burglar is definitely a substitute that just gets walked all over. That's absolutely what it is.
I had a substitute teacher who went by his name was Charles Head, and he would always come in and write on the board Mr. Charlie Head, and so we called him Mr. Charlie Head and not just Mr. Head, Mr. Charlie Head. And he would put Mr. Charlie Head of Head Acres in Berwick. Every time. We had him at least 20 times a year. He came in and made the same joke every time. He was a character.
Wow.
I would definitely race to get Ginger. I would love to go by that.
I would race to get...
is this going to be like a sexy lady left on an island, or is this just like a frumpy white guy? So that's the surprise.
It's B, everyone. B is the
answer. Exactly. Wow, this is now. So I feel like crime's going to go way up, right? Because everyone. I mean, I guess everyone's got to have a unique name. You're right. Never mind. I was going to say that there's going to be so many Johns. But,
oh no.
So like John 2, John 75, is that what you're thinking here?
All right, welcome to the evening news. I'm John 4. Today at the top of the hour, John 3 stole things from John 2, and John 68 still on the loose.
But there's already a John 5. That's a real guy. That's a guitar player. He played with Marilyn Manson for a while back in the 90s. He's a real dude. Very, very talented player. But so no more John numbers. That's taken. So you got to come up with something really unique, like Sidewalk Stomper. That'd be a good name for somebody, right?
Why not just have everyone have a barcode tattooed on their wrist?
You're giving away my number one.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Oh my God.
Someone just read 1984. Okay, here we go. That's a pretty nice little number 5, Brian. Let's jump on over to yours here.
Man, I can't wait to read the headlines of Slap Happy and Giggle Bum. The fucking crime duo is back at it again. All right, number 5. This one's a selfish one. This one I'm doing for me when I am El Presidente. I'm sorry, that's taken. When I am Mr. President. This is called the Presidential Comfortability Clause that I will sign into order on my first day, that perpetually states that everywhere I go needs to be 65 degrees Fahrenheit unless stated otherwise by me. So every room, every car, if it's hot outside, the Secret Service needs to figure out some sort of mobile air conditioning unit that follows me. And then on top of that, I would like it to be loud. So when the press starts asking me questions, I can do the universal like point at my ear, like, can't hear you. Sorry, air conditioner. I got to move on. Sorry. So that's kind of what I want. One, I just want to be comfortable all the time. And then when I want to go on like vacation to like a beach or something, I could be like, all right, take the air conditioning away. Now I will feel 85 when I get in the pool. Then the second I get out and dry off, bring that air conditioner right back, 65, all the way to my limo, all the way back to the office. The second I feel it up, a little bead of sweat under my armpit, someone's getting fired. So they best be prepared for making me comfortable. Number 5.
Clearly, the Freon lobby brought Brian to office here in this fantasy land. Why not just wear an all Under Armour presidential suit? Like, get Under Armour in there to design you the perfect wicking sports suit there is.
I'll accept it. If it keeps me 65, I'll take it. I mean,
Okay.
What keeps me there is irrelevant to me.
Sure.
As long as I am there. So that is everyone else's responsibility, not mine. I got a country to run. So people need to figure out how to keep me cool.
When you yourself are over 65 and you become president, let's say you're 72 or whatever, 78 perhaps, are you going to want it 82 and dry like down in Scottsdale, or are you going to still want it 65, you think, as an old guy?
I think I'm still going to want it 65, but then I'm going to wear really cool monogram presidential seal sweaters.
Oh, I want one of those now. Oh, that
see, would that be cool?
Yeah,
but like it looks like a handmade wool sweater that has the giant presidential seal on it, like a spreading bald eagle on the back. Basically, I want to look like a white MAGA guy's F-150. That's what I want to. By the time I'm president, just deck me out in American symbolism.
Okay. My last question is, how are you going to pay for this?
Well, I just won't travel as much, so just use your taxpayer dollars as usual.
Okay, that's great. And what if people around you like are catching colds or something like that? Are you going to bend at all for the? No, this is.
Nope, sack up, Sally. This is what it is now. Just learn to be cold. Sorry, Tom. Don't care. You run chili. Fuck it. Get a new Tom. It's done. I mean, it needs. I need it to be comfortable. I can't think if it's warm.
If you, I'm sure a lot of people heard Biden had to uninstall the Diet Coke button from the Resolute.
I'd put that back right away. That's going right back in. That's going right back. The fact that anyone took it away, why? Why would you take that away? Come on.
Well, because he knows that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, because he knows that Diet Coke will kill him faster, and he wants a second term.
So why doesn't he just change it to his favorite drink? Like if he presses it now, a sparkling water comes. Why get rid of the button?
Because Joe likes to interact with people. He likes to touch them. He likes to get in there and figure out what they're all about before he orders a water from them. So
I get it, but like, well, also if he's like lonely and he just orders a water just to have somebody come in to talk to, and then he just like doesn't grab the water out of their hands for a long period of time so he can have a conversation.
Well, Major's going to be there, or Champ is going to be there at his feet, so he'll never be lonely. So damn,
I didn't write an executive order about no more dogs. That's I really gotta.
I will say I recently did a little deep dive on presidential pets, and pets help get reelected. There are a number of presidents who got reelected.
Oh, I'm sure.
They say because of
I'm
pets.
sure they do.
Well, these are great number 5s, you guys. I'm gonna give you each 2 points here because Brian, I do like to keep it 65 as well, but it just seems like a lot of to do, and I just feel like there'll be so many bad photo ops of you walking around with air conditioning units flanking you at all moments. Maybe you could cover them. Oh my God, maybe you could put like eagle puppets on them so the eagle's wings are flapping as they keep you cool or something like that.
Now we're thinking. We're thinking.
That's great. Okay, let's go back to Nathan for his number 4.
And my number 4 is very simple.
Sure.
Ketchup is banned from all burgers and hot dogs.
Whoa!
Oof.
Wow!
Gone.
Wow! You're a despot. You're a fucking madman. You stole the selection. This is like 98% to 2%, and there's wow. What the hell is wrong with you? Why? What's so bad about ketchup? The perfect condiment, America's number 1 sauce.
The taste is my main issue with it.
Are you?
I hate ketchup. The sole reason I live in the city of Chicago is because Chicago style hot dogs don't have ketchup on them. We're spreading that across the country, and I am so tired of ketchup being expected to be on burgers that you order, because 40% of the time when I order and I'm like, I don't want ketchup on the burger, it's so automatic for them to put the ketchup on the burger that it comes out and it's got the ketchup on. I'm in a hurry. As Brian said, I got a country to run. I don't have time for a new hamburger. So you try to scrape the ketchup off a burger. It's a disgusting process, and you can never get all of it off. The flavor of it's still going to be there. It's going to be a ruined meal. It's happened too many times. I'm president. I will not stand for it anymore.
You've just described my experience with yellow mustard. You can't scrape that out. That gets automatically put on a burger, and it's fucking disgusting. So that I can't scrape off, because it takes all my ketchup off, and now I'm really, really mad.
I thought we did an episode a little bit ago where we complained about people that don't order as is. You guys both don't sound like real as isers. I don't know. I'm just putting that out
burgers
here.
Burgers are customizable when they offer it to be customized.
Okay. Nathan, you say you can't allow ketchup on burgers and hot dogs. Can I still have it with my hot and fresh McDonald's French fries?
You absolutely may. It's still legal in anything where you are personally applying it.
Oh, loopholes. I love these loopholes. Okay, so you can still have big ketchup in your pocket a little bit, but
yeah, if you want to carry personal ketchup around to put on your burger, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be served any that has it on it.
Heinz got their earmark put onto this executive order.
I guess Heinz does make yellow mustard, so I suppose that you'd still would you carry a little packet of Heinz mustard in your pocket, perhaps, just to remind people constantly, like you're the mustard president or something like that.
Absolutely. Me and Brian's political parties isn't red versus blue; it's yellow versus red. It's been red versus blue for too long. We might even change the flag.
Yeah. And red, no matter what, we know you've been there because you both stain. So
we perpetually just have these grease stains on our suits. Mine are always red. His are always yellow.
I would love that half the Oval Office is just dedicated to a rack of fresh shirts just to have ready to go.
No matter what I'm eating, that needs to be a thing in my presidency.
I mean, it is an Oval Office. You could have like a dry cleaner, automated rack going around you the whole time and just reach back and pick up a new shirt.
Anything automated, I'm all for.
That's great. Nathan, I think this was, obviously you heard my initial comments. I think you're a fucking piece of shit for putting this out there. Because I think ketchup is incredible. And as I've said before, I'm sure multiple times on this podcast, scientists figured out that literally they could not make ketchup taste any better with the ingredients that they used to make it. It is a perfect, wonderful condiment.
I agree. They can't make it taste better, and Lord knows they've tried.
Stop using my words against me, you son of a bitch. I will take When I'm feeling a little down in a moment, I'll pop over to the fridge and I'll take just a little squirt of Heinz ketchup, just right in the mouth. It's a nice little pick me up, and that is true. I'm saying a real thing here, and I love the new bottle technology where it squirts out and it's a clean. There's no drips. It's one of my favorite things. But man, you're insane for this. Okay, I'm gonna try and let it go. Let's go back over to Brian here for his number 4.
So my number 4, after completing and eating my burger with ketchup and a ketchup and onion hot dog, I will sit down to sign the Find and Replace Constitutional Amendment Decree. So this allows me, as President of the United States, to open the Constitution in Word and make any changes I want to save to the amendments. And my choices are binding for 35 years, ensuring that the next president that can make any changes will have to have grown up under my rules, giving them a fair chance to experience my plan. First change. First Amendment. Clarify that religion should not exist in any public school. This is not my clever way of this is my clever way of getting rid of the Pledge of Allegiance, not because of the under God part, but just because it's weird to pledge loyalty to a piece of fabric. 2, I will change the Second Amendment. You have the right to bear arms still, but only those that were available at the initial writing of this amendment. So any weapon designed after 1791 is not protected under this amendment. And here are some real rejected amendments that I would reconsider putting in. In 1933, Representative Wesley Lloyd of Washington State wanted Congress to outlaw millionaires using a constitutional amendment. Lloyd wanted income in excess of $1 million applied to the national debt. So if you made extra money, it went to the debt to pay off the bills. Not sure that would get passed, but it's an interesting one. And this one I don't really agree with, but it was quite interesting. In 1876, a citizen named Augustus Wilson wrote Congress to ask for an amendment after the contested Hayes-Tilden presidential election to eliminate the office of the president and replace it with a 3-person Roman-style triumvirate. So he was upset that his guy lost, much like recent events, and just wanted to eliminate the presidency. So I think with this opening of the Word doc, you would have a lot of changes to be made.
Now, Brian, what would happen in the case of spelling errors? Is it like a one-time thing? Do you have like a small window, or is this you get to continuously change the Constitution throughout your administration?
I have 24 hours to make changes.
Okay.
And then there is a 2-hour spell check by somebody else to make sure I spelled everything correctly.
Okay.
But even after that 2-hour spell check, we only have 15 minutes to make any extra corrections. Okay. So this is a very quick, simple 26-hour, 15-minute process.
Streamlined, obvious. Yes. I mean,
yes.
Okay. Now, what if people want to have a gun to hunt deer with, or other animals, to hogs, if you will, because let's be honest, pigs are a problem in the South. What if people need a gun that's better than a musket to take down an animal? Because otherwise it'll take forever to kill.
Learn to use a knife. That's an arm. It's protected. Learn to use a knife. Chase that hog.
Yeah. What about deer? You can't run a deer.
Bow and arrow. What's wrong with a bow and arrow? Doesn't work.
Oh, you're right.
We were able to hunt and gather for centuries with it. So come on, get creative.
Okay, you're right. Okay, fine, you're right. Wow, you just knocked my point down. That was very good.
Boom. President.
Very good.
Decision making.
What about the idea you pledge to the flag, to the idea that you are all connected through this beautiful piece of cotton up on that stick?
No, it's weird.
No, it is done. Okay. It's weird. I've thought that too when I was like. It was around first grade. I kept thinking, why are we all starting the morning just talking to an inanimate object? It's
a little Nazi-esque, and I don't understand why we still do it. Like, no other country on earth does this.
I mean, don't you talk to yourself in the mirror? Oh, burn! You're both inanimate objects.
Yes, we do, but that's besides the point. We don't have to do it in front of 20 other people every morning, mandated 5 days a week.
Yeah. Well, so is there something you do instead of the Pledge of Allegiance, perhaps?
You start your day. like a normal person and just don't do it.
You don't like start with like an airing of grievance or someone reads a poem or something or.
Why do you need that? Why can't we just start? Why, like, just start your day.
Fine. Wow, you're smart. Good point. Okay.
Get up and go.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is I think that was my only question. I just no this $1 million thing. So that was income in a single year, I'm guessing, right? That wasn't any money that someone has beyond $1 million.
Yeah, I think so. I think today that would have to be raised to $1 billion for it to really make a difference.
Yeah.
So we got too many white guy dentists that probably make $1 million a year now. So we'd have to.
Sure.
Although they should be punished for making $1 million for being a dentist.
All right, guys, that was number 4. Let me score these out here quick. Nathan, I don't know why you brought this up. Heinz Company is one of America's great companies, and I will defend them to my death. I'm happy that I realized they also make mustard. But I can only give you 1 point for that one. I'm sorry, ketchup is fantastic. A great little pick me up again, as I mentioned before. Brian, I don't know. There's something. I guess I was just like a militant, little pre-Nazi potentially as a child. But I always liked the Pledge of Allegiance, and but your other. I like this idea of the Constitution being preloaded into Word. I also was imagining Clippy there along with you being like, are you sure you want to, take away everyone's right to a machine gun? As you're editing it. So,
and that's just me double clicking the X really fast. Yes. You've been over this.
Exactly. But I'm giving you 2 points for that one. So, but this one, we're going to snake it out. So let's go back to Brian, for his number 3.
All right. This Executive Order 5603, I am calling elections corrections.
Okay.
So this is where I fix presidential elections forever. The entire election cycle is now being shortened to 6 months total. You are not allowed to campaign until 6 months before Election Day. So it means campaigns will start in May. Primaries will be on the 4th of July. The election is in November. So debates for these are also not live. They are done to a room of nobody where the person is allowed to mute the microphone, and only after this has happened and they've been fact checked will they then air on national television with the fact check attached. The Electoral College is gone. Republicans are going to whine that Democrats are the only ones who are going to win now because they're more popular. Yes, that's the point. Our current left needs to be the new right. So the actual left can be more progressive, well, making us progress. So deal with it. Voting age is now 16. Everyone is automatically registered to vote on the change of their birthday. If you're responsible enough to drive a car, you're responsible to learn who your representatives are. So vote by mail becomes the norm. And Election Day is a Friday and a national holiday, giving you a 3-day weekend. You don't have to worry about getting to the polls. You can go in person. You can do it by mail. You can do whatever you need to do. Either way, you're getting that Friday off. No more PACs, no political action committees, and every single dollar spent on a campaign is public information in a searchable online ledger. If there's a surplus at the end of the campaign, win or lose, all of that money is donated to the Treasury. I rest my case.
Nathan, first thoughts.
These are all good ideas. I'm thinking about the 16-year-old thing as well, and I don't know if I'm down with this. I actually would be more comfortable. You use making it analogous to driving a car. I'd rather have the driver's license age be moved up to 18.
I'm all right with that too.
Because I think it being 16 was kind of a throwback to when a lot of people were like working on farms or something, and it was out of practicality. But I think about myself at 16. I'm like, I don't think I was responsible enough to be driving or voting. So I would amend that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would say I absolutely agree with you. I honestly think the drinking age the voting age, and the driving age should all be 21. I know that sounds crazy, but I think then you get that feeling of danger all the way through college, you know? Oh, wait, that's already what it is. Oh, that's right. Oh, wait, that's a bad point I just made. Hold on. Rewind. edit. I'm going to heartily agree with Nathan here. I think the voting age should actually be kept at 18, and the driving age should be raised as well, because you don't need to be driving around in high school, because it's only gets you in trouble. So
I'm going to throw a wrench into this. I'm going to even go lower than 16 for the voting age, because the second you have a first job and you are paying taxes, you should be allowed to vote on where those taxes go. So the second you are able to work, you should be able to vote. I think that is a fair.
All right, I'm going to go then nobody should have a job before they're 18. Let them be kids, for the love of God. Let them be kids.
I'm for it.
I was going to say, just don't have them pay taxes if you're under 18. I think that'd be a good thing.
These are all great ideas. We are solving so many things right now, and I am on board for this camaraderie and bipartisanship.
Now I'm thinking also, we're going to have to run as a triumvirate. This is how it would look. Maybe it was a good idea.
How it works. Imagine this, everyone. 3 white guys coming to save you. Yeah. The Electoral College is obviously, it's rooted in placating the South to for them giving up slavery. So I'm all for, I think most people are, the abolishment of that. Now with the PACs thing, that goes away, then are we keeping a cap on individual spending for campaigns? Or
for sure. I mean, campaign finance reform is a given for this.
Would you prefer have no personal contributions and maybe a slight tax raise to have all the campaigns funded by the federal government?
I don't know. I feel like having campaigns, I don't know, by the actual government running the campainds. Well, no, it just seems odd.
No. It's just federal funding for the campaign. So if you meet like the threshold for qualification for candidacy,
so everyone's given $1 million. Spend it how you. This is it.
Basically,
yeah. That's interesting. That's a way of ensuring that there's a cap. Plus, if it's public money, you'd have to know where it's all going because legality. So maybe that is a way.
I think that also a huge issue potentially with your debate idea is that, along with like federally funding campaigns, is that there are a lot of people that don't trust the government. So if that wasn't live, they would think that you were editing the debate and like changing the outcome, perhaps. So I think that might be.
They would immediately say too that it's just like, oh man, the government's been infiltrated by the left. They're trying to give money only to these people. It's no one know. They're changing the ledgers. It's an inside job.
That's a good point.
Because everyone in America is super cooperative and works together towards the same goal at all times.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's how we get there is by saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the same flag every morning as children. Man, you're making my point for me, Brian. Okay, Nathan.
Can I deport you as president? How does that work?
I'm not the president. I'm just the all-powerful administrator of this exercise. So, Nathan, you're number 3.
My number 3, Brian actually kind of hinted at something like this, but this is mandatory retirement for billionaires. As soon as you have a network worth of $1 billion, you are officially retired and you will not be allowed to make any more money for the rest of your life because you don't need to. And also, I don't understand. I mean, this is why I'm not a billionaire, because I don't share the attitude of billionaires, which is, if you have $1 billion, why wouldn't you just retire and just have endless amounts of fun for the rest of your days and just do whatever you want? Why would you keep working? Why would you not be giving money away? Wouldn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy? So mandatory retirement for billionaires. And it's not just going to be mandatory retirement. They're going to have a mandatory retirement home. So they're all going to have to hang out together and just realize how shitty people like them are to be around. So we're going to put them, why don't we just go with Mar-a-Lago? That seems like it would be a fitting place. So we'll just ship them all off down to Mar-a-Lago, tell them, have fun, enjoy yourselves, but whatever you do, you're not allowed to do anything that puts another dollar in your pocket ever again.
All
Simple
of
as
these,
that.
all of these terrible, shitty songbirds stuck in golden cages. I love it. That's wonderful. Who's the if okay? Let's say this happens. You put all the billionaires in there right now. Let's say the top 100 billionaires, and then like day 30 they get bored and they decide to fight to the death. Who's the billionaire that's left at the end of that carnage?
I think it's got to be Musk, right?
Yeah, he's the most like Bond villainous of them.
He's
I would say Bezos, but his rockets don't really fly. So I mean, Musk can just weaponize them so fast.
Yeah, he can call in an airstrike from somewhere, I'm sure, just using his watch. So, he is a Bond villain. Oh my god,
he is a Bond. Think about it. He has cars that don't rely on the fuel of our nation. He has tunnels which he can get around in those vehicles that he's building himself. He has a wireless internet sent from space via Starlink, and he has the ability to leave the planet and or weaponize rockets at any stretch of the imagination. This guy can go
Sounds
anywhere.
like a guy who should be locked up to me.
Yeah, he can go anywhere and do anything.
Okay, this is a quick break. This is the first inauguration trivia I'm dropping on you guys. Which Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has inaugurated the most number, or has performed the most inaugurations?
It would be John Roberts.
Close though. He's number 2, or tied for second.
I don't know.
Thurgood Marshall.
Oh, I was gonna say you both of those they share a name. John Marshall, the original, the first Chief Justice, did 7 inaugurations. Very good. And here's a quick math one. What's 100 divided by 5?
20?
Yes, Brian, you get the bonus point there. Good job.
Cool.
It's stupid, I know. I did like
the only subject I was good at, so there's my proof in record.
I did like that your answer had a question mark on the end, though. That was fun. Here we go. Okay, now that was Nathan's number 3, correct? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's both your number 3s. Brian, there were some holes in your thing here that I think are great to think about, would be fun to think about, but also I think would cause a lot of mayhem. So I'm gonna give you. I'm sorry. I'm only going to give you 1 point here. I know that's probably harsh, but I don't like it when you win and your shorts are full of turds. Nathan, great idea. I love that Mar-a-Lago is their awful, stinky, rotting cage. That's 3 points for you. And let's go back to Nathan again. Give me your number 2, please.
All right, this one I just think is pleasant.
Sure.
Americans are a hardworking people. You have a long, stressful week. So you get to enjoy my new policy, Sunday Sundays. Everyone gets a free ice cream sundae every Sunday. We're going to have the ice cream truck will come down the street, and it will be playing Yankee Doodle Dandy, and you'll know your ice cream sundae has arrived. What better way to spend a Sunday afternoon than with a little ice cream sundae from old Uncle Sam? However, there's not going to be a vegan option. It's just going to be regular ice cream because vegans are already smarter, healthier, and more ethical and just better than the rest of us. So they don't need any cheering up, obviously.
As they remind us every time they can.
and I actually, and as an aside, from everything I've read about the reasons to be vegan, I think I agree with all of them. I think it's 100% a really noble thing to do, but I'm still not going to do it. And I know that that's like the definition of what makes you a bad person. So I know I'm going to spend all week knowing I'm a bad person, but then you know what's going to cheer me up? A nice ice cream sundae on Sunday afternoon. That'll just wash the taste of guilt and shame right out of my mouth.
Nathan, fast forward to, obviously this is a day 1 executive order. So the first Sunday you're in office, the truck is or whatever it's you said Yankee Doodle Dandy?
Yep.
That was okay. So the truck is rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue. Yankee Doodle Dandy is playing. You hear it from the Oval Office. You jump through the window. You break the glass and you're sprinting towards the truck. Obviously, Ty is behind you.
Obviously,
it's like a tail coming out of the back of your neck. You're the first to the truck. There's some kids there. You box them out. You're the first one to order. What does your Sunday look like?
I'm a pretty simple Sunday guy. I just regular hot fudge. Sometimes I'll go with a banana split, a few nuts sprinkled on, but mostly it's all about just a ton of the gooeyest fudge and the stuff that you really have to chew. You can't just let it slide down. So yep.
extra lukewarm ketchup.
Yeah. It'll be doused in mustard, just covered in mustard. The old mustard sundae.
Okay, then the way you describe this, I have to bring up: are you pushing only vanilla ice cream on everyone? Do they have a choice of base flavor?
Well, probably not in week one because the infrastructure won't be in place. But we're gonna start sprucing things up as the plans are rolled out, as we get some feedback, because we'll always be listening to our constituents. So it'll be evolving over time. But yeah, week one, you're probably just gonna get a regular hot fudge sundae.
I'm assuming all the workers that were laid off from the Heinz plants throughout the country can then become ice cream truck drivers. I think that it seems like this is your plan.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
All of their distribution trucks are going to be repurposed. It's going to be seamless.
Yeah, what's wrong with the pivot? Everyone keeps saying we can't get away from fossil fuels because of electric. Pivot, everybody. Yeah. Everyone's got to pivot. The Heinz workers pivoted. Yeah. You can too.
Now, I honestly would love a sundae made with mashed potatoes, meat sauce, and a little Heinz ketchup for the topping. I think that would
sound great. Too, so. The old meat sundae.
This is bold. I love this. It's bold. It's sweet. It's 2 scoops of goodness. Bringing us back to the old days. And I think everyone, you're gonna have that wonderful mid-afternoon sprint everyone's gonna do to the sidewalk. It's gonna be a great montage for like some propaganda film you create to market this thing. So people falling out of trees, making slides to go off the roof right to the ice cream truck. This is wonderful. Great job. That's great. Let's go to Brian, see if he can top that with his number 2.
All right, my number 2, I am calling this executive order my deficit reversal order.
Okay.
This is where I fix all the money problems.
Wow.
I think I'm stealing this idea from Warren Buffett, if I read it somewhere correctly. I can't remember where I saw it, but I like it a lot. And if the country is in the red, no member of Congress is eligible for re-election. So if there is a deficit, you cannot run again. So it applies to lifetime politicians, new politicians, whatever. It's a clean slate every time we're in debt. So hopefully this should create less military spending, higher taxes on the wealthy, and force Congress to adopt single-payer health care, as it will be forced to realize that it will actually be cheaper than our current system in the long run. I will also earmark a PS to this order that forces hospitals to list all prices with thorough explanations on why each item costs what it does. So this trickles up the chain to the pharmaceutical and medical hardware manufacturing companies. So if you do decide to keep your private insurance, you know what you're buying. So I covered all of my bases with this executive order, trying to balance the damn budget.
Wow.
It's not sexy, but it's needed.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is this isn't ice. This is not ice cream sundae. This is meat and potatoes. This is something that'll keep you alive.
This is down and dirty. This is for realsies.
This is right now the national debt is what? It's like 3 times the yearly GDP or something like that.
It's something ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like we are a college kid with a fresh credit card.
Yeah.
Not understanding what interest rates are or anything. We are just spending because we think we have it.
It's like me at 20 when I was like, well, I need to go get pitchers of margaritas and enchiladas 3 times a week with my friends. That is necessary. Absolutely necessary.
It is necessary.
Shout out to was it Fiesta Mexicana. Used to be on Lincoln. It's dead now. Used to sing karaoke there as well. Wow, what a joint. Brian, this is I thought there was going to be some more comedy here, but this is just a great idea. This will force everyone. Now, what I'm thinking here too, because things like how they fund, was it Social Security, and a lot of debt is also like technically off the books too. There's like trillions of dollars of like unofficial debt, which makes me think it might all just go dark like that. Who knows? But I like the bold. Again, this is bold too. This is very bold, and will keep people to the fire, to the flames. To keep working.
That's what I do. Keep people to the heat.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you think has been in Congress too long? Perhaps from Illinois or someone that you know more about?
All of them. Okay. Most of them. I mean, there's so many that have been there so long. Like, I was just watching Night Stalker on Netflix, which was about the Night Stalker killer in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And the person who almost blew that case in the mid 80s was San Francisco Mayor Dianne Feinstein, who accidentally gave all the details of the case to the media. And I was like, she was prominent then? Still?
Oh, yeah.
And now she's a senator and has been for how long? I'm like, this is too much. Even Bernie, who I like so much, and his ideas are still pretty progressive. Retire, man. You had a good run. Pelosi, she's 80 years old.
Yeah.
Like, to Nathan's point, don't you want to enjoy life ever? I understand wanting to be a part of the system and you're addicted to it in some way or form, but like, just get out and have some fresh blood.
Yeah.
That's why I think when we were on The Maker and Me, we were given this question once, and it was like, one of the things, maybe we should come up with some sort of affirmative action that covers all races, genders, and everything. So there has to be equal representation of what the actual populace is. There needs to be a certain amount of white, black, Asian, Latina. There needs to be a certain amount of age. What is the country actually made up of? All of what we're made up of needs to be represented equally in Congress.
Yeah. Big ideas for a big new world. Wonderful.
So hilarious in this comedy podcast. Laying down the jokes.
Brian, this is very bold. I'm going for it. I'm gonna give you 3 points. Great. Nathan, you know how I felt about that one. Wonderful. Sundays. Fantastic. 3 points for both of you in this one. So Nathan, bring us down the home stretch. Give us your number one.
All right, my number one, and it is a big policy change, and it's not going to. We're still going to have a president elected, but we're still having presidential elections every 4 years, but nobody is allowed to run. You can't run for president. If you show any interest in ever being president, if you want to be the president, you are immediately disqualified. And so the rest of us, the electorate, we will get together and we will think about people who we wish were president and who we think would do a good job. And then we vote for them. And then they have to be the president, even if they don't want to do it. Because I think, I don't know what type of person actually would want this job. That lust for power bothers me. I mean, we saw it with Trump, but how many leaders throughout the world are corrupt at the top? It's a problem over and over again worldwide. So nobody who wants that job gets the job. We'll just find somebody we all actually trust and make them do it. And then after 4 years, we'll set them free and let them go. But then we're going to bring in another really nice saint-like person, install them in the White House, and not let them leave until their term is over.
How are we going to get more than 2 terms for Tom Hanks? I don't understand how this works.
He only gets one. And then Denzel steps in.
All right, fair enough.
So can other people campaign for someone else? Because people would just choose celebrities, right?
Well, yeah, but I would kind of like it to be a secret as well. Like, it's all kind of done in secret. So it's illegal to campaign for other people. It's all gonna kind of be underground word of mouth. And so it'll always be a huge surprise. We won't even know who's in contention. We'll have our hope. Like, Brian will be really hoping that a lot of other people are going for Hanks, but it's gonna be a big shock. We'll have no idea who it's gonna be, and then we're stuck with him.
I don't know why. I don't know why I feel. Now, is Congress and the Senate, are those normal elections? Because I feel like that would kind of inform how people vote.
Yeah, those are still normal. It's just at the top. Just at the top.
Okay.
We need to safeguard against people who have a lust for power.
I mean, I do like this lust for power negation thing. I think that's very smart. Give me your president, vice president, and secretary of state in this.
I mean, it would be Greg Popovich for president, and then I might as well just for continuity's sake have Tim Duncan and Becky Hammon be in the administration as well.
That's amazing. I think Manu Ginobili would be a great secretary of state.
Would he be legally allowed to hold that office?
I think you can. Yes, I think you just can't be president. I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, I don't know how long he's been a citizen. Okay, yeah. But I mean, Greg Popovich has Air Force experience. He has a degree in Russian studies, and he's a proven leader at the top of his field for many years. I think he'd do a great job. And he's also on record as saying he never wanted to run for office. So he's the perfect candidate in this system.
Mm-hmm. What about Chip? Was it Chip Wayland? Chip Wayland? What's his name? The
shooting coach?
The shooting coach, yeah. He could teach the Army something. I tell you what, they wouldn't miss terrorists from here on out. Okay, let's move on to with that crass ending to that one. I'm sorry, guys. Brian, give us your number one, please.
All right, my number one, again, is going to be hilarious. This is the enacting FDR's actual second Bill of Rights that he proposed at one time. And who could actually say it better than the man himself?
A second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed. Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative job in the industries or shops or farms or mines throughout the nation. The right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation. The right of every farmer to raise and sell his products at a return which will give him and his family a decent living.
I'm worried about that one the most.
The right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom, freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad. The right of every family to a decent home. The right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health. The right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment. The right to a good education. All of these rights spell security.
And those were all shut down. Those never became a reality. And those have basically been on the books since the early 40s as an idea. And we are still fighting about them. So it's about damn time when I, who campaigned fervently with a lust for power, decided to come into the office and sign my executive order that finally makes these rights law. Number one.
Instead of farmers, do you want to make it like customer service representatives or something like that?
Farmers. I love how he said that.
Farmers. I think instead of farmers, it should just be developers. trying to think what is just as widely now a job as farmers would have been then. I mean, farmers are still obviously very important, but
yeah, there's just a lot less. I think one thing I would add to this Bill of Rights too, which obviously they didn't know about then, was access and free use of high-speed internet. I think that's a great equalizer across.
Some guy was just talking about that too. Is like our current what we consider to be broadband is like 25 megabits down, 3 up, which is like at the beginning of broadband. What like it was like, that's not enough for you to like check email and stream Netflix. Like that's not enough to do those two things at the same time.
Yeah.
And why isn't broadband available to every single house? I will never understand.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
Well, Senator Dr. Ernst, thank you so much for that last point here. And while I tally up the scores, thank you guys again for competing today. I want you guys to talk about who are your favorite presidential kids.
I'm a fan of Chelsea.
Chelsea was cool. I do love the image of John Jr. saluting at the funeral. That's a very poignant moment. And then steeped in tragedy because we all know he died under tragic circumstances many years later as well.
Cool. Way to show me up for that one. I was like, oh, it's funny because she had braces in the White House. And you're like, no, he saluted his dead dad. I'm like, oh, wow.
Like,
okay.
I also think that a rule for every president from now on is no matter what their actual voice is, once they take the office, they have to speak in Conan O'Brien's impression of Kennedy. Now I am the president and I will talk like this forever. And then,
Farmers.
then they can go back to their normal voice after the term's over. But all presidents will talk like this.
I have tallied the scores and I have the final here. Brian, if you had not answered that incredibly difficult math question, you would not have achieved a draw today. 11-11 for you guys on Über Cinco today. We have to let the house decide this one. That'll be another time. But that means we are now at the Fast 5, top 5 White House pets. Number 5, socks from the Clinton White House. Roundly considered the cutest of all the cats to live in the White House, a special favorite of Hillary. Bill, not so much, as Socks had a very annoying habit of always pulling the signal off the doorknob of the Lincoln bedroom. Number 4, him and her from the LBJ White House. No, these weren't the names that famously crass LBJ gave to his own testicles. They were a beagle couple that Lyndon or Lady Bird never took the time to properly name. These two beagles did live in the lap of luxury, of course, while at the White House, but were always in a perpetual state of nervous, envious anxiety. Not because they were beagles. Rather, they were always left out when LBJ chose to charm guests by doing puppet shows with his balls, Longhorn, and Brisket. Number 3, drunkard, taster, tippler, and tipsy lived in the Washington White House. They were black and tan coonhounds. Revolting was hard work. These dogs' names signaled that it was time for America to take a break over a beer, or maybe 2. Well, you couldn't really drink the water safely, so better have one with breakfast. And honestly, after a dinner of 2 pounds of boiled potatoes and a pound of boiled hog with a spot of cabbage, there just isn't room for ale anymore, so better switch to whiskey. Although folks are talking about this rum stuff from down old Caribbean way, I'll give it a shot, literally. Whew, that is smooth. Anyone got a lime? Yeah, a lime. We ate that shit on boats to keep scurvy away. Thanks. Say, hey, you got any carbonated cocaine beverage too? Number 2, Misty Malarkey Yin Yang. Jimmy Carter's daughter, Amy Carter, cared for this famous Siamese feline. We now know where Joe Biden's favorite phrase comes from. In the late 70s, as a young senator, Biden was searching for an identity, a hook, the one phrase that would leave constituents voting more and the adoring public to never forget. After watching Escape to Witch Mountain with the Carter family in the White House on September 18th, he went to the Senate floor on September 22nd, 1977, where he rallied against deregulation of the coal industry, referring to Duke Energy's treatment of its miners as straight-up malarkey yin-yang. The wince from the other senators pushed him to drop the yin-yang, but the rest is history. And number 1 of White House pets. Now, this number 1 pet was one of a kind. It was said that 50-pound pallets of white rats were delivered weekly to feed this beast. Some staffers joked that interns conspicuously disappeared around this pet as well, and it's rumored it was once housed in the Roosevelt room for a week straight after it broke the lock on its cage. The number one pet is Stephen Miller. And that's this week's edition of Über Cinco. Please rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. And once again, we love that hearty wom, word of mouth, so please tell your friends about us and send them your favorite episode. Why not? Competing regally with height and splendor has been...
I'm assuming myself, Nathan Hennenfent.
And leaving his stinking Jack Shack for our pleasure has been...
Brian Ernst.
And I've been Mitch Brinkman. And as Biz Bear always says, keep not wearing masks, Americans. I'm loving the national parks. They've never been emptier or cleaner. Auf Wiedersehen and adios.
You've just listened to Über Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.